Most people think silence is a white flag, a sign that you've finally given up. But while they are busy making noises, you are busy making a plan. Silence is not a sign of a weakness, brother. The guy who is facing a loud voice is having a tough time. He's living life like a jerk. Even then, don't consider him as a coward. Don't treat his silence as a sign of a giver. But the isolation around him is telling a different story, as he is waiting for the right time when he can bounce back. You know, brother, the mockery of life is we think reasonably, as it is very distinct feeling to find in someone that when you shout at him and he doesn't give a damn shit on you, when you are facing the toughest time and you reach the maximum which can happen, but you are still silent. When it is a hard time in a relationship, but one of the partner is silent. There can be many more worse conditions when you don't know what to do. When you try something new but fails every time, you give up, and by being silent, you accept your failure. Mostly the gesture of silence is taken as a negative feedback. It is considered as a sign of a loser. But brother, don't consider silence as a measure of weakness. In fact, it is the beginning of bouncing back. When something wrong happens to you, but you don't get angry and you are just silent, others will think you as a weak guy, but they don't know that you don't want to tell your rival what your next step is. You don't want to create a scene. You don't want to let others know whether you are weak or not. You don't want to lose your emotional power. And sometimes you don't want to cry in public. Silence works like a wall holding your emotion, anger and weakness deep inside you. When you enter that state of silence, everything around you fades away and your mind slips into deep analysis. You begin to question and examine everything, whether the mistakes was yours or not. When things are not working as per the plan, you resist the condition, then you choose being silent. Despite taking any indecisive decision, you don't want that anger or else fear overpower, and you don't choose that path which is followed by these emotion traits. You choose being the opposite of being silent, making your mind and emotions settle down and let them calm. After that, you revert back with your action. Silence in a difficult condition works like a pause, which holds on and makes it still for some time. You choose this option many times by being silent. You have to give time to yourself, brother. You have to give leverage to you. You need extra time for this problem. You have to understand this. And you do so by being silent, by taking a pause. Silence is the stage where you want to make the next person indecisive. You don't want to show your next move. You want to keep it private. The word is so harsh that sometimes the people around you will make you angry intentionally. And in that anger, you blast out loud your all plans, your preparation. But when you choose silence over anger, the things turns around and you don't disclose anything in public. You keep it secret, not to disclose your next step, to control your anger. These are not the only things for which you should be silent. But sometimes, in favor of your prestige, you have to be quiet. Don't think that safeguarding your prestige is making yourself weak. No! But it is done so that you don't create a scene in public. It is not compulsory that any adverse situation can't shake you. Sometimes you get broke down, and in this situation, when you don't want to let others know your emotional strength, so to hide it from your surroundings, you choose being silent. You are weak from within, and you don't want to let it be open among all. Then it is the best way to safeguard yourself. The power of silence becomes even more powerful in conditions where you don't want to let your emotion burst in public. You want to keep them personal, and you choose being silent despite acting in that situation. So before acting in an adverse situation, in a difficult period, when you don't understand how to act, then the best step among all is to be quiet. Silence is the slap on the face of the toxic people who want to persuade you to do something wrong. It is not just a nod, but it is a powerful reply for all who thinks you have given up, who thinks you can't. By being silent, you are making your surrounding think that what they are thinking is right. You don't have to dig a hole for them. They have already created it for themselves. When you are running on a racetrack, that in the beginning you will fall, you will hurt yourself many times, you will feel like giving up. But in all these moments, you don't have to overpower your emotion over your failures, but you'll have to stand still and quiet and silent and let others do what they want. And when you do so, you choose success over failures. When you choose the things that make you embarrassed, angry and jealous, in these conditions, it is better to be silent rather than make a wrong decision. You know, brother, what is the best part of being silent is it lets you know the person deep inside you. When you are sitting silent, bothering no one, not getting distracted by any thought, at this moment, you are into a conversation with yourself. You start noticing about you. You get to know more about you, your strength and lots more. So don't consider silence as a weak strength. In fact, it is the most powerful one which can change everything in your life. But this, you can change your emotional abilities. You don't let others rule you over your emotion. They can make changes in your emotions by provoking you, by making you angry, by making you jealous, by making you negative. But you know how to control your emotions rather than getting